Aw, yeah. Today, it is out with the old logo and in with the new. Boys and girls, I am so freaking excited about today. We are going to install the new suspension on the Stagia. This day has been way too long coming. It has been a journey getting to this point. Do you remember last time we talked about all the complications I had about getting the brakes and the calipers and all that stuff in customs? Doesn't even compare to the drama I've been through trying to get this freaking suspension, man. It has been 7-8 weeks. It's been over 2 months, man. It's been like a long time. Finally now have the new suspension in my possession. I am freaking stoked. I'm super excited. Here is all the pieces and parts, and I'll talk about that in just a second. We'll talk about all the drama. It's been so long that actually I've grown a freaking crazy mustache. In between the last time you saw me and in between now, I actually just shaved it off last night because I couldn't take it any longer. Not take it any longer. But just so you guys can see it, here's a picture. I think I'll here. Anyway. Yeah, it was my quarantine stash. I finally I had enough of it. Like, I could not stop just touching, itching, and it was kind of gross, and I had to get rid of it. In the meantime, I've been collecting a ton of other parts and doing some other things in the background. I was gonna film an episode with you guys last week installing a new boost gauge bezel here that matches the interior, should be that same dark gunmetal. I was also gonna talk about some electrical stuff. We're gonna get to all this someday soon. There's some dramas right here that I wanna talk to you guys about. The day I was gonna do it, I had everything freed up and it just rained all day. And that's not a day you wanna be in the engine bay or doing other things, electrical. It's not the day. Also, check this out. Coil radiator and a corresponding transmission cooler. The last time I was under the hood, I noticed the plastic end tank of the stock radiator is actually starting to leak right at the seam. We're gonna install this coil rad. I believe this is from a 33, maybe a 34. It's exactly the same. It fits everything. But since the Stagia is an automatic, we have to install a transmission cooler because they're not all combined. That's all good and all fine because the day we finally do switch to be a manual conversion, everything will already be set up with the manual radiator. Speaking of that, here we have an entire set of R33 pedals. It also came with the clutch master cylinder. Just need to clean that up, clean that out. Pretty stoked about that. Sooner rather than later, I think we're gonna install all of this stuff to include our handbrake. We probably won't be able to do the 5-speed swap for some time now. It's still good to prep the field, get all that stuff ready. It'll be too easy when we're also working on the boost gauge and electrical stuff to just knock all that out in one when we have the dash and everything else apart. I can't tell you when we're gonna actually get to the 5-speed swap. Everything's still locked down. Borders are still technically closed. I think they're gonna open soon, which means we could travel to Belgium. Restrictions are slowly starting to lift. We're being careful, man. We're not in a rush. We have plenty of projects to keep us busy. Going back to the dramas I was talking about getting this package of the suspension, it took a couple months and a lot of coordination with a lot of different people. I don't know what happened. This stuff came from Japan, went to the States, ended up in Italy, got sent to the UK, ended up in Italy again, got sent from Italy to the UK again. There, it just sat for weeks waiting for movement. Eventually arrived in Germany and bam, it was here. And man, when it showed up, do you remember that scene from like Ace Ventura Pet Detective when he's delivering that package like in the very beginning? That's exactly what this thing looked like, dude. Look at this. Okay, I tore it open here, but dude, it had straps, it had tape, it had cellophane, it had more tape. This thing was crushed to bits. Oh my gosh. It was completely destroyed. It was like picking up a sack full of stuff. The box had no structural integrity whatsoever anymore. It made it here. With all the times that package was taped back together, I did a complete inventory on the pieces and parts and everything was there. That's amazing. Thank you to everybody who helped me get this stupid thing here, man. It was drama. It was drama. Why? Why do I have all this drama? When I bought this, there was no indication it was a kit. Every picture showed the shocks and springs and everything together in one piece, like you were buying a set of coilovers. So I assumed everything was gonna be put together, and no, instead it is an entire freaking kit. Brand new everything. Some of it is Nismo, some of it's just OEM Nissan, Nismo springs, all genuine parts, all genuine brand new, which I'm actually pretty excited about because building shocks and springs, it's not hard, it's actually kind of fun. I actually like the fact that I get to build it all, I get to put it all together, so that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that, and we're gonna do that together. One more thing before we get to that, check this out. One more thing that's happened in the meantime. This was something, again, I was gonna share with you, we're gonna do it all together, but it was just something I couldn't wait. I had a break in the weather. You know what? I'm gonna knock it out. Posted something on Instagram, some before and afters. These are the old taillights that came out of the Stagia. I'll put up some of those pictures and then we'll also check it out a little later. So without any further ado, guys, all the conditions are set. Everything is ready to go. You know what? I'm gonna put on some good lo-fi hip hop. We're gonna start putting these shocks and springs together. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the simplicity of this kit. Everything fit together exactly like it was supposed to. It even has little hints to make sure you are successful. One of the things I've run into is put shocks and springs together and you have to clock them. The way that the bottom mounts here has to match the way that the top hat mounts here inside the car. And sometimes you're just ever so off and you end up having to twist. You really don't want inside your suspension, so you have to tighten and loosen. But in this one, if you notice, the eyelet and then the ABS mounting bracket are straight up, and if you continue to follow that line on the top hat, there's an arrow. I confirmed bracket points towards the front of the car, arrow points toward the front of the car. This is exactly how the orientation is on the top. I really truly appreciate that simplicity. It's gonna make the rest of this worry-free. Fronts are completely done. Everything checks out, everything looks amazing. This is not difficult, building shocks and springs. And some of you might be wondering, hey BC, it's 2020, bro. Like, get with the coilovers. I personally just don't like coilovers. I don't like coilovers. I haven't had good experiences with coilovers. And I feel like the way things are going in the car community, in the world, with laws and regulations, just coilovers are becoming more and more complex to have on your car. Some states don't allow them, some states do. And honestly, I personally just enjoy the feel of a nice performance set of shocks and springs. That's where I want to put my money. And when you look out there on the market, this was the best deal going. I'm pretty excited. I mean, who doesn't want like Nismo stuff on their freaking car? So all I have left to do is put all the rear stuff together, which shouldn't take any amount of time. And then we'll be able to move outside and start getting stuff put on the car. This is good, man. Okay, one thing I am noticing right off the bat is that the rears are universal. There's no left or right, exactly the same, and upper mounting brackets are exactly the same too. Same part number, no left or right designation. Also, this is pretty cool. The dust boot actually has the built-in bump stop. Did you see that? There we go. Long story short, I don't know the orientation between the eyelet and the upper mounting position. I think now is a good time to go out, take the covers, look at the orientation on the car. That'll give me a chance to share the new taillights with you as well. Oh yeah. So freaking dirty, man. We have had unbelievable pollen this season. Check this out. With the freaking clear. It's got this little chrome. So much more modern, man. So freaking cool. The next step will be LEDs all around the whole entire car. I want to do LEDs just like I did with the Z. And I'm still working back here. Just, man, found some freaking rust here, which is pretty crispy. I might cut it out. Otherwise, not too bad. These taillights cleaned up the rear amazingly. We just need to pull off this piece here. I think it might be screwed. Yep, screwed down. I need tools. Okay, I'm back and I'm squished in here, man. This one thing I want to get is the tonneau cover. Not necessarily because I cared too much about the security of back here, but it's just that OEM, man. It's that OEM fresh stuff. Taking it back to like from the dealer type options and stuff, you know? Okay, that's undone. Hopefully this just pops out. Okay, here we go. Here's the boot. Okay, this is actually good. I was worried that the bolts would be in a slight freaking turn orientation, which would be pretty freaking annoying to get spot on, but they are just front and back. Nothing complicated about that, which is amazing and awesome. Now we just need to look at the lower eyelet to discern whether this is parallel or perpendicular, and then we'll be good to go. Oh. Ah. Oh. Okay. So the bolt is side to side, eyelet towards the center of the car, which means basically the bolts run parallel to this knot. Too easy to orient. Okay, everything in the same direction, and we're good to go. I got everything out here, man. Everything's set, tools, all the things. Got to get the car up, got to get the wheels off. I'm gonna go ahead and start in the rear. It seems the easier of the four, or the two, or the pairs, or the things. So we're gonna do the rear first because there's some more bracketry and other things in the front, and it seems logical to me. But notice this, got some dinging in the body of the shock here. Probably just from bashing up against other pieces and parts while it was in shipping, but it doesn't look like it's gonna affect anything, so that's cool, that's fine. All right, I'm gonna start dropping out the old suspension. We're gonna get the new suspension in. Before you know it, this whole project will be done. Yeah, too easy, man. Old stuff is out, new stuff's about to go in. I'm gonna go ahead and get this knocked out, put the car back on the ground, go get my lunch, do my errand. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, everything's back together. I'm about to go take my lunch break, and honestly, I think I timed it just right because I'm pretty certain there was a neighborhood-wide Amber Alert that told everybody, go cut your grass and weed whack your yard right freaking now. And frankly, it's just not very cash money for recording a vlog. All right, I am back, and I'm actually done. Like, it's just too easy. Shocks and springs are not a freaking hard job. Guys, if you're thinking about upgrading your suspension, shocks and springs, coilovers, it's all the same. The only difference with coilovers is you have to set the right height. It's the top two here. There's usually one down there. Maybe there's a brake line or ABS in this case that's strap hanging to it, but otherwise, guys, it's a pretty done deal. Garbage. The only real difficult thing about shocks and springs is in the back, because sometimes it requires you to remove a lot of interior. Sometimes it could be a real pain in the butt. Maybe you have to remove like the speaker deck, or you have to remove, like in the 300ZX, you have to, might as well pull the engine to get to the rear mounts. I mean, really. One word of caution, guys. Whenever you are tightening up these studs here, do not over tighten these in the front or the back. I actually made a mistake way back years and years ago with a Nissan Sentra. I was putting it in, I over torqued it by hand, spun one of those things off. Then you got to order a whole bunch of other crap, and you don't want to do that. Just don't do that. Don't over tighten it. Don't be He-Man. I'm gonna rinse out the underside here, get some of this sand and debris and grass and all that crap off, get the wheels on, and then guys, I'm freaking stoked. We're going for a drive. Everything is fully back together, man, and I'm totally loving the profile. Looks good, man. Looks just the way it did. This new logo stuff is a 20 mil drop in the front, I think 30 mil drop in the rear. It's not super low, but that's just the way I like it. And it's gonna settle a little bit. Wider wheels and everything, it'll fill it out. Something that's a little more square, bigger contact patch. Still competing with lawnmowers all throughout the neighborhood, but let's still try and get a little bit of that cold start goodness. Pretty excited to be able to drive down the road, hit a speed bump, and not feel everything in my face fall out. And yeah, be able to drive down the highway and not get like the death bounce like a lowrider Impala. I'm just making it out of my neighborhood, and already it is so freaking smooth, man. Oh my gosh. It's like not even the same car. This is awesome. This is freaking great. It used to be the car, like the entire car would move up and down with the contours of the road. Not anymore, man. The shocks are actually absorbing what they're supposed to absorb, man. Oh yeah, dude, it's like this part of the road here. Okay, so this part of the road here is like cement patches, kind of like they do on an interstate in the United States. And normally my car would just start bouncing, like hitting all the different seams, all the different patches. It's freaking smooth. It's like totally smooth. Oh my gosh, transformed. This is a good road of some twisties that leads up to a Autobahn. So let's enjoy the ride. It is a completely different car. About this car is it's feeling pretty all right. There was definitely issues with the brakes, having that one brake kind of hanging up and causing that drag and the heating up of the bearing or the wheel or everything else in between. The suspension was shot. Early on we had problems with electrical and coil packs and spark plugs and just the ignition system in general. And then of course, you know, like some pretty bad water leaks coming inside. And the smell, guys. The smell, it was pretty bad. All of those things, dude, I'm gonna say it. All of those things, we're good to go now. We are good to go now. The car is at the baseline it needs to be to really start thinking about the future, which is exciting. I want to get this radiator replaced. I got a couple more electrical things like boost gauge. I want to put a stereo system in this thing. Oh man, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, as the world continues to unwind and unlock from the current pandemic, things will kind of get easier, not be so complicated. But I don't know, man. Like I was telling my wife, this car has been a fantastic challenge. Like I knew the car was going to be challenging already, just considering it's rare and parts are hard to find. But then just the complications of getting those parts have really made this build a challenge. And you know what? I'm kind of enjoying this suck, just a little bit. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this road, guys. But for now, I'm gonna say ciao. Ciao a tutti and aloha. Bye-bye.